Welcome to 2 Cents We See Scary Movies, the podcast where we watch horror movies, break them down, and occasionally question the life choices that led us here. This month's theme is You Make Me Sick, which usually means movies that deal with disease, infection, bodily horror, or things that just crawl under your skin in a fun, effective way. And then there's this movie, which interpreted that theme as a personal challenge. I'm Talon, the one who values story, logic, and characters behaving like recognizable human beings. And I'm here with Dan, who is the reason I had to sit through this shit and should probably apologize.
I apologize several times.
I didn't know what you were doing. You were pre-apologizing.
I pre-apologized. So I am all out of apologies.
Right.
So I'm just all out of apologies at this. I'm taking the Kevin Hart route. I've already apologized for it.
This week's movie is The Night of Something Strange, a god-awful, horrible movie that was cringeworthy from the moment it started to the moment it mercifully ended. I could not wait for it to be over. Let's get into it. All right.
This movie just punches you right from the beginning.
Oh my God, right from the fucking start. First 4 minutes and some odd seconds. That's when I texted you first. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on?
And little did you know it was only going to get worse from there.
Yeah, that wasn't even the worst part. What the fuck? Who wrote this? Why? What?
Okay, so it opens with a mop bucket. You end up seeing the guy who's attached to the mop bucket. He's just a stereotypical, like, uneducated redneck sort of person.
Mm-hmm.
Not to sound crude, but I mean, that's just the best way you can put it. And I certainly believe that that's how this movie made it seem. So that's the best way to describe this character, only because it really seems like that's what the writers wanted you to feel about him. He is working, as we end up learning, in a morgue, and he's mopping the floor, and he comes across two bodies, a male and a female, and he looks at he doesn't know it's the female yet, but he goes in, he starts feeling a little randy, and takes the sheet off the woman, and he gets a little excited. We see it pan over to the toe tag, and it says radiation leak, like victim of
Yeah.
radiation, maybe an STD.
Right.
This doesn't stop him. I mean, he didn't read it,
No.
but I mean, it doesn't stop him at all, because he ends up going to town on it, cucking the other body. He's just
Yeah.
sitting there watching, or at least laying there.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead. I just figure, it's a cuck situation.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh God, I know where this movie's going. Shit.
And that is the opening scene.
Yay.
And then we cut to a scene of sausages cooking.
Mhm.
There's a woman there, and she's yelling for the man to come to dinner. His name is Cornelius. We see Cornelius in the bed, and he's like writhing in pain, like he's doubled over, and he's just not feeling good. He ends up rolling over in the bed, making you believe that he's dead, because the way he looks, it looks like he may have died from whatever is going on.
Now, see, I thought he was masturbating. I did not to get any indication that he was dead because he was moving a lot, and I just thought he was
Yeah, but
masturbating.
no, I mean, honestly, when men masturbate, they typically don't go in the fetal position.
No, but I
That's a
thought he
little
was just like,
uncomfortable.
I thought he was really into it, like in a major way. I was like, good God, guy, you just did it to some dead person. I was like, I have a feeling this is gonna be a movie that I just wish I'd never watched. Shit. I was confused at first, and I'm still not really sure. Was that his girlfriend, wife, or mom?
I don't know. I think she may have been his mother,
That's what I
because she
thought.
seemed older.
Yeah.
But so anyway, she goes into his bedroom to go get him, and he's standing on the bed. Apparently, he's not dead,
Uh-huh.
and he's urinating all over it. She yells at him, and we see that he's turned around, and he's an atypical zombie. What
Right.
I mean by that, he's got like red eyes, and I mean he's got the maniacal face and everything.
Maniacal.
Maniacal, maniacal is better.
You say maniacal every time, and I have to correct it.
He ends up going after her. He knocks her down in her bedroom, and she ends up reaching over and grabs an alarm clock and hits him in the head to get away. He does end up getting a hold of her, and he has his way with her
Mhm,
unconsensually.
mhm.
And she gets away. She goes down to the kitchen, grabs a knife. He's running down after her. She gets him right in the shoulder, and he turns and he falls. Blood is spurting everywhere. I don't know why people do this, like in horror movies. Like, I don't know if like this happens in real life or not, but she just stabbed the guy and she's walking over to make sure that he's either dead or alive or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And she's standing over him, and all of a sudden he jumps to life, looks up at her really fast, and jams his fist up her coochie. And it's either I'm assuming it could have been her uterus because it was some organ that he ended up pulling out
Yeah,
of her, and he starts eating it.
yeah. We're gonna have to definitely put a disclaimer on the, video, in the show notes. It gets worse.
So he pulls the knife out and starts walking, and the woman's left behind. Now we see some headlights on a road. Then something gets hit by a truck. You pretty much know that it's a body, but
Right.
you don't know who it is. And there's two guys that are in the truck, and they're confused. And they're like, "Did I hit a bear?" And the other one's like, "No, I think it was a man." And the other guy's like, "A man bear?" And yes, kids, this movie is trying to be a gross out comedy.
Right.
The
I
jokes,
thought it was trying to be horror porn. That's what I was thinking.
it could have been that as well. Horror porn with, some elements of gross
Yeah,
out comedy.
right.
I can tell you none of the jokes really land.
No.
I mean, they were placed well, but they just did not hit
They were
well.
so sophomore-ish, like, just so, like, kids wrote it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit more, banter between the two, and we hear a bang, and they're still stopped. Like they hit a tree or a pole or something. And in the back of the truck, we see an arm that just falls onto it. Well, the arm is still attached to her body, but it's flopping onto the truck. And all of a sudden, Cornelius pulls himself out. So Cornelius is walking away from the truck, and they end up backing up and hitting him.
Mm.
And he falls into the bed of the truck. And we see from the initial accident that his face is pretty jacked up. And I gotta say, later in the movie, the special effects of that doesn't really work out so well because he ends up eating something. We'll get there. He ends
Yeah.
up eating something, and you can see like the makeup wasn't really attached to his face.
Right. Yeah, that happened to a
Um,
few characters that were even they before they got weird, you could tell the makeup on their face was not quite sitting right.
right.
Yeah, well, not the makeup necessarily, it's what's the stuff they put on your face? The latex or whatever.
Latex.
Yeah, you could see that it was coming up. Yeah.
So they end up driving off with him in the back. I don't know if you caught it, but I don't know where the tarp came from.
Yeah. Well, the tarp was on the bottom of the bed, and next thing you know,
Right,
it's
it's
on
on
top of him.
top of Cornelius. Okay, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss something on there because, I'm
No, I
like
thought there was a lot of shit in this movie that they fucked up and didn't make any sense. That just whoever the guy was that was supposed to do continuity sucked.
so we have an overhead shot of him in the back of the truck, and he comes back to life again, and he roars. So now we're in a high school classroom, and there's a girl that we later learn is Christine. You're gonna notice the theme of the names. I'll let you figure it
Oh,
out.
yeah, I figured it out. They stole from a lot of movies, by the way.
Yes. So we have Christine who's writing in her journal with a very poor narration, talking about how she can't wait for beach week, and she's talking about it with all her friends, and they'll be with her, including her BFF Carrie, which is behind her in the classroom, and her boyfriend Freddie, who walks in, and he's like the resident douchebag. Christine doesn't really like him all that much, but he's just going to their little get together because of Carrie. And then she introduces Jason,
Mhm.
who Freddie immediately hits in the back of the head.
Right.
And she explains that Jason is her half cousin who still tries to get with her.
Right.
And it's kind of gross. And I'm not
Yeah.
really sure why she hangs out with him if that's the case, but she does. Then we have Brooklyn. Okay. Guess who Brooklyn is? Guess what race Brooklyn is?
I
He
don't know.
happens to be black. So Brooklyn, he's there. Christine also doesn't really like him all that much, but he's going again because Samara, who we never meet in the movie, is his girlfriend and reason why she's going. And apparently, again, this girl is her other BFF, but she ends up not going on the trip. We don't even know who she is. So I don't even know why
Well,
they introduced her.
she was in the movie for like 5 seconds. They met at the locker. She was all pissed off,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
she
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's why I'm not going." And that was it. She stormed
Yeah.
off.
And also Brooklyn is very original in his character because not
Yeah,
only is he black, he's from New York. And he's the only one that does that has drugs on him.
right.
So there's some stereotypes there.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to go woke, but there's some stereotypes going on there. After the introductions, the bell rings, and I got to tell you that there's a very long time between bells in this school because I
Yes.
remember only having like 2 minutes to get from each class.
Right.
She was able to like do an entire monologue before the bell rings. And the teacher is talking about their reading assignment, talking about like proteins moving around. And Freddie makes a joke like, oh, you can move some of my protein around. The teacher's like, oh, you can also go to the office. And,
Mhm.
and he stops, back in my day, my teachers would have sent me to the office if I said something like that. I mean, I'm surprised I'm not in front of HR half the time. But anyway,
This teacher was pretty, lax.
yeah, she very much was. Now we're back to Christine, and there's a weird silence. Like it's just all of a sudden it's just quiet, and she like looks outside, but it's very quiet. It made no sense. And a car pulls
Well, they're
up, and
reading. That's why it's quiet.
oh, true. But I mean, for a movie though, you would think that there'd be something, which we'll get
Oh.
into a little bit later too.
Mhm.
You would think that you'd hear like gum or like a
Oh,
chair
right, right.
rustle or something like that. So a car pulls up on the outside that Christine is staring out at, and we have the tough guy that comes out, the badass that's driving like the fancy sports
Sports car,
muscle
yeah.
car,
Mhm.
and he gets out. We later learn that his name is Dirk.
Right.
Dirk. Dirk. We know he's the badass of the group because he's the muscle car man, and there's also music playing in the background that he's a mean motherfucker.
Right.
So this is how we know that he's the bad guy. Well, not the bad guy, but the
No,
tough guy.
the tough guy, yeah.
He ends up texting somebody, we don't know who, until it goes back to class. And there's another girl whose name is Pam. She ends up asking to go to the restroom. Coincidentally, she ends up meeting up with Dirk, and then they take off. I have to say, like this whole thing, because like they leave and they're still being awkwardly stared at by a couple people.
Mhm.
And these are some of the worst school scenes I've ever seen. And that is taking what was that one? Lake Fear? No, not Lake Fear. Oh, come on. What's the name of that movie that we keep making fun of throughout this entire thing? Fever Lake.
Oh, Fever
I
Lake.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
the worst school scenes, worse than that. And that was
yeah.
pretty bad.
Right. Oh, they were horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fever Lake is a masterpiece compared to this movie,
Compared
by the
to
way.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the touching,
Even with the touching.
because we get there too.
Yeah.
Christine and Carrie meet outside because they're getting a ride to wherever they were going.
They're going to spring break, right? They're leaving right from school. They
Right.
have no
Right.
bags, no nothing. They don't go home. They just leave right from school to head to spring
Yep.
break.
Brooklyn, Freddie, and Jason are outside, and Christine's like not happy that Brooklyn's there, and Freddie's like, well, he's got the drugs.
Right.
That typical situation that we were talking about. So now we just randomly see a mailman going up to a trailer. He sees a mailbox on the ground. That's not normal for a mailman to see. So he
Mhm.
approaches to the door and he knocks on it. We see movement, and then all of a sudden glass shatters and his mouth starts to bleed. And the woman from earlier, whose uterus was ripped out,
Yeah.
is now a zombie and punches him in the chest.
Mhm.
He falls. She walks over him and she allows coochie blood to drip into his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where this is going.
Ugh.
So now we're back to Dirk. He pulls into a gas station and we see an older woman behind the counter. I didn't catch her name. I didn't watch with subtitles on, so I didn't catch her name. I just am referring to her as the clerk throughout the movie.
Yeah, that's what I just called her the convenience store lady. I didn't know what her name was, and I don't know why some of these people, they made them look the way they did, and my only guess is they did not wanna go through all the hell of prosthetics, like stopping and
Right.
putting on like having a normal face and then prosthetics. They just already kinda put them on. They didn't exaggerate them, and they waited until they needed to exaggerate them. Because I was like, "Why
Yeah.
are they making her look like this?"
Right.
I was like, "She looks like shit." I was like, but so many of them did. They already looked like they were dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they had like contact paper covering the
Right.
makeup and they just pulled it off when they needed it. So when they get to the gas station, Pam gets out to go into the store. And you have to remember that Pam is supposed to be a teenager in this, and there's a really long, awkward shot of her ass.
Right. Although she looked distinctly older than the other girls.
Oh, she certainly did. But she's supposed to be portraying,
Right.
a younger teen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was really like, in the 80s when you had a porn star in teen movies,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm 18," and she looks 45.
Right.
So that's kinda like what this was. Um, you know, not that I know anything about that.
Right.
Um, so she ends up going in and asking the clerk to use the bathroom, and she gets the key. Now, at the same time, the two guys with the truck end up pulling in, and for hitting a tree, their truck looks remarkably in good shape.
Yeah.
I think one of them, I think the name, like his name was Woody. I didn't catch their names
Yeah.
either because they're not in the movie for very long. But I think
Yeah.
his name was Woody. He enters the store and he immediately goes over to the beer thing and starts stealing beer.
Right. He really
Uh,
packed that his jacket full of beer. I was like, "How are you gonna get out of
Oh,
here with all
he
that
really
beer?"
did, and there's no way she didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was reality, there was no way she didn't know.
No, she was just so into smoking her cigarettes that she just couldn't pay attention, I guess, because that one was
Right.
a chain smoker from hell.
Oh, absolutely. Literally.
Yeah.
So in the bathroom, we have a view of the toilet. We're inside the toilet when a used tampon is dropped inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun scene.
It gets
And
better.
so Pam pops up and preps herself and then she leaves. There's a scene between Dirk and the truck driver because the truck driver is like staring at Pam and Dirk's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight you," and shit. So Dirk ends up getting into the car and they drive off. Now we see that Cornelius is no longer under the tarp or in the truck.
Mhm.
He's in the bathroom and he begins to throw up into the toilet
Okay, we
and
gotta
he ends
stop
up
for a second.
urinating blood.
Okay, hold on, 'cause I have a comment about this part where he throws
Okay.
up in the toilet. So, this guy who has, got some crazy disease, he's turned into a zombie, he has been hit by a truck, and he goes into the bathroom to throw up and to pee. He has the sense to do this? I'm like, "Why?" He's been stabbed. I mean, it's like, why would you even think with your zombie-like being now to just, "Oh, I need to go in the bathroom and do this." Like, it didn't seem to
Right.
make any sense. It's like, would you just throw up or piss wherever in your pants if you wanted to. Like, just
Right.
why you have to go in the bathroom to do this? What are you doing? Why are you worried about it? Like, what? It didn't make any sense to me. I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Right. Okay, so now the guy Woody, he's still in the store loading beers into his jacket. There's some time
Yeah,
between
it was a lot of
him
beer.
going in there. So he ends up waving to the lady and he leaves. She's too busy reading a book and smoking.
Yeah,
And then she looks at the beer cooler, looks at the guy as he's leaving. She steps out, and then those two guys end up driving off.
right.
We're back to Cornelius, and he looks down into the toilet and he reaches down into the bloody puke
Ugh,
water,
ugh,
picks out the tampon,
ugh,
he smells it,
ugh,
and then he puts it in his mouth to chew on it.
ugh.
He steps outside and then he spits it out. At first, I
Right.
thought he ate it, but then
Yeah, I
he
thought he did
spit it
too.
out. So So at least he had enough sense to do that.
Well, he's got a lot of sense,
He does.
apparently.
He does. So now we're back to the kids, and they're having their typical, teenage banter and just
Right.
bullshit stuff. This is another scene where there's absolutely no ambient noise.
Yeah, no
There's
rock
no heater
music.
noise. There's no rock music. The only thing I can think of is like maybe they had some music, but they couldn't use it for licensing, or the artist is like, yeah,
Maybe.
fuck that.
Yeah.
After seeing the movie, but there's like absolutely no ambient noise. It's just them talking into a microphone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Right.
Kind of like what we're doing right now.
Right.
Except, I have the ambient noise of my furnace kicking on and off. So right now, Jason is driving,
Like a
and
psycho.
yes, like a psycho,
He
and we
drives
have
out of the top of his head. Like, he has his
yes,
head tilted down, his eyes up. He looked like a
yep,
nut. Like, what the fuck? Why is he driving like that? But yeah,
yep.
he looked like a total psycho.
Brooklyn's in the passenger seat, and Freddie and Carrie and Christine are in the back. Freddie and Carrie start making out. Brooklyn's smoking weed, and Christine is just sitting there. She's the pristine one. She's the one that
Right.
survives because she doesn't have sex.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. And Jason adjusts the rearview mirror so he can get a better look, and he sees Freddie and Carrie getting on and watching where Freddie's hand is. Freddie sees him, and he gets mad at him, starts yelling at him. And then Brooklyn looks over and he sees that Jason's got a hard on. And he starts making fun of him. So at this point, you're realizing Jason is the punching bag of the group. And he's like, oh, no, no, I'm not. But he's trying to hide it at the same time.
Yeah, he's definitely the dorky guy.
Right. Yeah. And so at this point, Carrie says that she needs to go to the bathroom. So before they get there, we see the woman, the clerk,
Mhm.
in what I would call a weird, useless shot because she goes outside, she's throwing away trash,
Yeah.
and then she picks up the tampon
That
because she
very
finds it.
That tampon, by the way, and again, this is some weird continuity shit. That thing was in a disgusting blood-filled toilet, had blood on it already, and vomit, and then went in that guy's mouth, but it was the string, the top of it, pure white, and the rest
Yep.
was just blood. I was like,
Yep.
"What?" Okay.
So she sees it, she picks it up, and she tosses it into the dumpster, but she's about 10 feet away from the dumpster.
Right. Maybe she played football at one time.
I don't know anything about tampons, but do they have enough weight to be able to fly 10 feet into a dumpster?
Well, it depends on how much
Blood is
blood
in
is
it?
in them,
Okay.
how
I
heavy they might be.
I don't know. I don't know how the continuity with that works.
And it was supposedly in a toilet, so it should have
Right.
been soaked.
Soaked, right. True. True. I didn't think about that.
It didn't
Yeah.
look it, but it should have been.
Right.
Yeah. It'd be like throwing a mouse,
Yeah.
basically.
So now we're back at the original trailer, and the mailman pops up. He looks around and he growls because now he's one of those zombie people. And the thing is, like, they don't really call them zombies in this. Like,
No.
it's
Well,
zombie-esque people.
near the end, Christine, when she's yelling at the cops, she calls it zombie. Like, she calls them
Okay.
zombies, but nobody else
Yeah.
really calls them zombies.
Yeah, nobody else really did.
And I wasn't even sure myself.
'Cause yeah, 'cause, I mean, they survive more than zombies do.
Yeah, that and they're cognitive of certain things. And I was like, they weren't just aimlessly running around.
Right.
Yeah. So I wasn't
They
sure if
were
they were zombies either.
right. So now the kids pull into the gas station, and they all go in except for Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's putting in his order. "Oh, I need some sweet tea," or some shit. He does that a couple times.
Yeah.
I say that he's putting in his order because he's not doing jack shit but smoking weed.
Right.
So Carrie asks the woman and the clerk to use the bathroom, and she starts walking out when she says yes, and the woman's like, "Oh, you're forgetting the key." So Carrie comes back, and she goes to grab the key, and the woman grabs her hand, and she starts like this long diatribe
Yes.
of, don't throw your tampon into the water, throw it in the trash, because I know all you high school girls and how you bleed," and
Yeah. It was
just going on like this,
crazy.
crazy rant. It was just unneeded.
Yeah. It was so
Um,
long.
and Carrie says, "Yes, ma'am," and then she ends up going to the bathroom. Now she ends up in the bathroom, and the toilet is covered in blood, dirty puke water, blood is on the mirror, and it's not like little splatter, like little tiny
No.
droplets of blood. I mean, we're talking like smeared across the toilet.
Yeah, with the vomit too, and it's one of those
Yeah,
things
with the
where
vomit.
you wouldn't even wanna wipe it off and still sit on it 'cause it's like
Right. Oh no, no, not at all. Not unless you had like 4 gallons of bleach.
right.
And even then,
And I don't think there were any I think she looked at the toilet paper and there wasn't any, so she didn't have anything to really wipe it off with anyway, but even if you did, no, still
right.
wouldn't wanna sit on it.
So while she's doing that, we're back at the car. Brooklyn's asleep. Freddie pulls down his pants, farts
Oh
in
god.
Brooklyn's face, and someone else takes a picture and they're have a moral compass of telling him that what he was doing is wrong.
But it wasn't just he didn't just fart. He what do they call it? He sharted.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, brown liquid came out of his ass
Uh,
and onto Brooklyn's face.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. I was like, "You gotta be
Uh,
kidding me." I was like, "What the fuck? This
so
movie?"
we're back at the toilet and we have another pleasant shot of the bloody puke water and it's bubbling, like little tiny bubbles, like something's living in it.
Right.
And and it's a nice close up, I might add. You know,
Oh, yeah, it was
it was
great.
one of the best close up shots I've ever seen. And Carrie stares at it, and this is when she realizes that there's no toilet paper. And you know, I'm assuming that she's tired and she's been in the car for a while and she just needs to pee.
Right. I would've fucking gone outside
Right.
or find the men's
Freddie's
bathroom.
Freddie's getting impatient, but she goes in. She's trying to like before that, she's trying to position herself so she's hovering over the toilet
Right.
because the zombies in this movie have more cognitive ability than these kids
Yeah.
because after seeing all this bloody shit, literally, she turns around and goes to sit on the toilet. Now, mind you, she's not lifting up her dress, so maybe that was like some sort of protection for her.
Yeah, I was like, because she did hover over the toilet and she had her hand on the sink, one hand on the sink, one hand on the wall to try and hover over it, but she wasn't trying to hold her top up either. She had pants on or something underneath, and it was just a longer shirt. She wasn't even
Right,
trying to hold it up. I'm like, "You're not worried about that touching it or peeing on your shirt? Like, what?"
right.
But, I mean, I guess she couldn't do all of it at the same time. I don't know.
He had to sacrifice something.
I suppose.
So as she's hovering, she ends up slipping and
Mhm.
she ends up sitting in the blood.
Yeah, and vomit.
And vomit, yes.
Ugh.
She finishes up and she rejoins the group. She
Mhm.
doesn't say anything about her experience.
That'd be the first thing I would say when I got to the car.
Absolutely. I mean, I would poke my head and be like, "Yeah, fuck nah." That's what
"Guys,
I would
come
do.
look. Look at this
Yeah,
shit."
exactly. Or take a picture and send it to everybody. But
Right,
something like I would make some sort of attention to it.
right.
So now we're back at Dirk and Pam, and they're driving. They pull over to the side of the road. Pam runs out and she ends up peeing on a leaf.
There's a lot of peeing in this movie.
Yeah, there is. And there's a very specific reason why they show the leaf, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
While she's doing that, Dirk is looking through her phone and it says something like, "Hey, babe, you know, I miss you and he misses you too." And there's a picture of a fucking elephant trunk of
Yeah, it
a
was
dick.
huge.
You know, Dirk is pissed at this point. He gets angry and he lightly punches the car steering wheel.
Mhm.
I'm assuming because there's a lot of steering wheel punching, and I'm thinking it's because it was light. So I'm assuming that they told the kids to do that in order not to ruin the car because
Right.
of budgetary reasons, or it could have been someone's personal car.
"We're just leasing this vehicle. Be careful."
Right. So he's fantasizing about confronting her and shooting her for cheating on him, but
Right.
he didn't.
No, 'cause it'd been 6 weeks since he had sex, so that
Right.
was more important.
Right. Yes. They drive off, and we have a close up of the leaf again. We see a hand reach down, put 2 fingers in, lift up, and we see like a little bit of blood. And then the hand goes down, picks up the leaf, and it's Cornelius, and he puts the leaf in his mouth and he starts chewing on it like it's gum.
Right. And
Yeah.
he was also while she was peeing, he was masturbating in the trees.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah. I
Again,
guess.
wherewithal. Like, why didn't
I
you just attack her if you're a zombie? Like, this is where I was
right.
confused.
And I think I blocked that part out.
I would love to.
All right. So now they're back in the car, and Carrie's starting to feel, sick. She's feeling nauseous, and she needs to throw up. So they end up pulling over so she can do so.
Although she did
And
throw up in the car. She threw up on Brooklyn.
yeah, that's right. She did throw up a little bit in Brooklyn. She ends up throwing up. I don't know why it took so long for her to throw up, because when she got it on Brooklyn, Brooklyn threw up immediately.
Yeah. But he kept his shirt on.
He did. He
Yeah,
did.
and it was fine later.
Right. Yeah. And we see Cornelius watching from the woods again. Like, Cornelius really gets around. He really
Right.
does. I mean, he
I
ends
don't
up
know how he's going
everywhere.
so fast. Yeah.
Right. So again, after some banter, the kids get back in the car.
And he's masturbating at when she's throwing up too.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all this man
And
does.
well, see, I think that scene, I thought he was mad because because there was a long shot of him groaning, but it does make sense. Although I did put in my notes that it could be jerking off the way this movie is going. So the kids take off, and Cornelius starts on his way as well.
Well, Cornelius has a tell, by the way.
Because of what?
Every time he has a tell from the get-go, from the start, when he had sex with the dead body. When he comes, his head tilts up, he almost howls kind of, his
Oh
eyes go
yeah,
back. So and
yeah.
he does this that's how you know every time that he is doing that.
I am so glad I know that now.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hated this movie, but I paid attention for this fucking podcast.
So now we're back at the convenience store, and the woman, the clerk, is there. She puts out a cigarette and lights another one immediately.
Right.
And I have to point out, she's doing this in the store.
Yeah.
It's been decades since you've been allowed
Yeah.
to smoke in public places in pretty much every state.
Right. This was made in
'Cause
2016?
yeah, 2016. And I think this is supposed to be Virginia, I
It
believe.
was.
She hears a noise and she looks over the counter, and it's a can rolling on the floor. We're not supposed to know this, but it's Old El Paso refried beans. The only reason why we know this is because the logo was partially covered.
Right.
So, Old El Paso, if you want to, throw some money our way for plugging you in this wonderful movie. So she picks it up and she goes to put it away, and the mailman is actually now behind her, and they're doing this weird, I don't know if it's supposed to be artistic shot of them in the store and then the security footage at the same time, at the
Right.
same very same angle. So
Yeah.
you're getting two shots, one in color, one in black and white. So she's putting the can away. She turns around, and the mailman ends up hitting her. She falls to the ground, and he's slowly walking towards her, and she's crawling
And still smoking.
and still smoking at the same time. Like, she is not putting out this cigarette to save her
No
life, literally.
way. I'm gonna die smoking.
So he ends up falling on top of her, and with that, he ends up assaulting her. So
Right.
there's as much sexual assault in this movie as there is peeing.
Yes.
But that's what it feels like.
Yep.
So there's definitely a trigger warning. We probably should have said it in the beginning, but
I'll put it in
here's your
the
trigger
notes.
warning after a lot of this shit has happened. So we're back at the kids driving. We don't see them in the car this time, but they find a motel, and there's a flickering road sign. There is a scene of the motel sign that's buzzing, and it's excruciatingly too long. It's about 5 or 6 seconds, but that's a long time to show a buzzing sign, and that's
Right.
all it is.
That's where they decided to put all of their ambient noise. That was their ambient noise budget.
Yes, it was just in that sign. So they pull in, and at the door, we see a view of someone watching them through the shade. It was an ominous view. I had to work that in somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, ominous every episode.
Freddy and Jason have an argument. Kind of figures Freddy versus Jason. Ha ha ha
Right.
ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Jason gets out. Christine is still in the car, asks Carrie if she's okay. Brooklyn is sleeping on her, and she says that she's doing better. And at
Right.
this point, she does seem like she's feeling okay. And Christine is asking, "Oh, are you sick, or have you started yet?" I don't
Right.
know. Do girls ask each other that?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I just wasn't sure, because guys don't ask like when they had the last hard on, so I just wasn't sure.
No, but men do it too. Men are like, "Are you on your period or something?" Everybody asks women if they're on their period.
All right. So now we have Dirk and Pam in a hotel in I believe the same motel. Yeah, the same motel room or motel rather. And they're in the room and they're like enthusiastically fucking.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't even know how this was pleasurable the way they
Yeah.
were going at it.
She was bouncing all over the place.
Oh, absolutely. Like it was like one of those bouncy balls.
Right. She was on some kind of ride. Well, I guess she was on some kind of ride.
Dirk reaches up and chokes her, and she likes it, but he gets a little tight, probably because he's a little angry about the monster dick.
Yeah.
And he lightens up, and she finishes, and she's like, "Oh my god, that was the best thing," and it was so kinky. And she goes to the bathroom. Guess to do what? Pee.
Yeah.
Um, and he looks down and asks, "Are you on the rag?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he pulls off a bloody condom.
Yeah.
And as he does so, he gets a little in his eye. So the other kids end up in the lobby, and it looks like altogether it could have been like a different horror movie sort of thing, because wall
Yeah.
peeling and it's all weird and backwoods, and
And eventually it does become another horror movie
it
having to do with
does.
this motel. I was like,
It
what the
does.
fuck are they doing?
But we do have to have spoiler alerts when you're going to
Right.
give something away, because
I
what
didn't
if
give it
people want to
away.
watch this masterpiece?
Don't. Don't do it. I'm begging you. Do not watch this movie.
I guess we know how many cents she's giving it.
Ugh. I won't give it away. No spoilers here.
But so Freddie and Jason asked for 2 rooms, and the guy's like, "Oh, you guys can have the king size bed." And they're like, "Oh, we're not gay." He's like, "Oh, you're not gay?" "No."
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Well, I don't really want to scrape cheese and shit off the walls and the ceiling."
Yeah. I mean, they asked for 2 rooms, dumbass. Why would
Right.
they ask for 2 rooms if they're together? And then he was also like, and there's no connecting door. Well, no shit. They don't need a connecting door. Like, they're not
Right.
together. Like,
So when they pay, he's like, "Yep, here's 2 non-gay rooms."
yeah. Jeez.
And as they do that, Jason looks into a room and he sees what I believe to be a kid in a clown mask
Yeah.
playing with like an older woman. Could have been a
Uh-huh.
sister, could have been mother, don't
I
know.
thought it was Alanis Morissette.
Well, you ought to know. So as they're settling the bill, the man asks, "Do you want to lick my balls?" They're like,
Yeah.
"What?
Yeah.
Do you want to lick my balls?" And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Do you want a wake up call?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, no." Like, oh, that's the whole thing is what he said.
Right. That's
So
the joke.
so Freddie and Jason go to get the rest, but before that, they're having a conversation. Freddie wants Jason to sleep in the car and leave him alone with Carrie. And Carrie reminds him that she smells of puke and corn dogs. Freddie's like, "Yeah, that's fine. Give me 10 minutes. I'll be all done." And Jason's like, "No." And Freddie grabs his balls, and Jason agrees at that point. They get out of the car and they briefly talk about the beach. Like, there's maybe 3 mentions of a beach in this movie.
Right.
About 3. But that's
Yeah.
where they're supposed to be going. So I believe it's Christine asks why Jason's staying in the car. And Freddie's like, "Oh, he probably just wants to jerk off or something."
Right.
And, if you're trying to get with somebody and you're being a dick,
Yeah.
don't you think the person that you're being a dick to is going to be just the same? So Jason
Yeah.
informs the group that Freddie plans on fucking Carrie.
Right.
Carrie's grossed out. Freddie's mad at Jason. Christine is grossed out too. Freddie's mad at Jason. And so Jason gets out of the car and Freddie walks out to him and softly punches him in the stomach. He threatens Jason if he goes into the room, he'll beat him up. So Jason goes back into the car and gently hits the wheel. So now from there, Carrie is laying on a bed. Freddie sits on the bed and they have a conversation. Freddie's trying to convince Carrie to have sex with him, because he's being like all kind and sweet and all this other stuff.
Right.
And she's still not feeling well. She's like, "No, I'm not feeling well." He's like, "Oh, I got blue balls." She's like, "That's just some shit guys made up to get laid. I told you I'm not feeling good. It's not going to happen." Freddie is still concerned about his blue balls. "I
Yeah.
need to have sex at least 10 times a day or my balls are going to blow up."
Right.
You know, Carrie gets mad at him, tells him to leave, and she's like, "Oh, it's your loss, bitch."
Right.
You know, and the thing is, I mean, that's probably like the most realistic line in this whole thing because I've read Reddit and the nice guys that are on there. You know, the
Yeah.
whole "I'm a nice guy, you fucking bitch." That's kind of like how this worked out.
Right.
So as he's walking out the door, he then very politely asks, "Can I at least jerk off on your ass?"
Right.
She tells him to leave and he leaves. He ends up going over to the dumpster and the innkeeper turns on his car lights and asks what he's doing. Freddy's like, "I'm just going to take a leak." The innkeeper says, "Oh, you know, if you shake it more than 3 times, you're playing with it." With these jokes, I literally like
Yeah.
was just like with my eyes up in the air, like,
Yeah.
really?
No.
And Freddy's like, "Oh, well, I'm good because I'm only on number 2." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's fine." And then at this point, by the dumpster, and with the guy not even gone 2 seconds,
Yeah. He literally just turned around.
yeah, he starts jerking off. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think it's when he finishes, he ends up, like, lurching forward, hits his head on the garbage on the dumpster, and he falls over. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I think that's what happened because all
Yeah,
of a sudden
he was in the midst of doing it, and then he dropped something, and he went
okay,
to bend over to pick it up, and when he did, he hit some edge or something of the dumpster, and it knocked him out. So, yeah,
okay,
he's flat on the ground now.
that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So now Jason is back at the car, and again, he lightly punches the wheel
Mhm.
when the zombie clerk bursts through the window. Now, I don't know why they're worried about the steering wheel when they're breaking windows.
Yeah, I don't know how all these people end up at the fucking motel.
I know, every single one of them.
Every one of them ends up at the fucking hotel. I'm like, "How did she get here? They drove in a car." I was like, "She walked?" I was like,
Right.
"What?" I was like, "Okay." How
Maybe, again, the way this movie is going, maybe she followed their scent.
Oh, she must have. Must been the scent of blood and the tampon, and she followed it like a greyhound. Not a greyhound, a bloodhound. Yeah.
Right, bloodhound. So Jason is able to get out of the car and he runs to one of the rooms and he's able to slam the door and he sees her through the peephole because apparently she moved just as fast as he did.
Yeah, apparently.
Harry pops up behind him and she's starting to look a little rough.
Yeah.
And he asks, "Are you all right?" She's like, "Oh, do I not look okay? Do I not look good?" He's like, "No, you look good. You just look a little off." And she's like, "Fuck me as hard as you can." And he's like, "What?" And she asks a couple times, and then she finally throws herself at him. And he's
Right.
like, "Oh, all right,
Yeah. He was super excited because he was definitely a virgin.
correct."
Yeah.
So now Christine is in the bathroom in the room that she's at. Now I'm also noticing that Christine is the only one that's not pissing somewhere.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she's okay in this too. So we see that she's in the room with Brooklyn, who's smoking more pot, and she's like, "Oh, you're smoking that already?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get sex out of the sex smell out of the room." She's like, "There isn't any, not yet."
Yeah. And he
And
smokes pot for the rest of this movie.
oh yeah, absolutely,
I was like, "Damn, that thing lasts a long time."
yeah, I know because he never really rolls another one.
No.
Christine tells him, "We're not having sex," and Brooklyn is like pushing, and he's trying to convince her, and she's like, "Yeah, no, this isn't gonna happen." So now Pam to Dirk. Pam is texting somebody with a smile on her face, and Dirk asks, "Who are you texting?" I mean, he knows full well. "Oh, just a girlfriend. She's sending pics of her puppy." And he's like, "Oh, can I see them?"
Mm,
She's like, "No, I deleted them because I needed to space on my phone."
right. Although he was sitting right there beside her, laying up against the bed, he could have easily seen whatever picture she
Right.
had.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so Dirk ends up confronting her about Mongo Dick, and she gets mad at him about going through his phone more than the cheating, which I never understood.
She's getting what? Oh, she's mad at him for going through her phone more than she's
Right.
mad at him for him accusing her of cheating. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. And that always has confused me is
Mhm.
why are you more upset about the phone than you are about getting caught cheating?
Well, she's trying to
Hmm.
deflect. I mean, it's a
Oh no, I know, but
yeah.
it's
Like, we're gonna
pretty
suddenly
much
forget. We're gonna
it's
forget you were
so
cheating.
right, and it's so stereotypical. I mean, It's a thing, like
Yeah.
almost every single person that you come across, they go, "Oh, you looked through my phone." Well, I
Right.
saw you fucking somebody.
Yeah. You're worse for looking through my phone.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Well, technically, no, it is his fault, 'cause if he hadn't looked through the phone, he wouldn't have known she was cheating.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly, that's
his
true.
fault
It
that he
is.
knows she's cheating.
That's true.
So there you go.
You make sense.
Yeah.
So Dirk leaves the room and he gets down pretty far down the hallway and she's like, "Oh, if you don't come back, I'll never have sex with you again." And he's like, "Sweet, I've had better sex in boot camp."
Yeah, good comeback.
What? What? Boot camp is nothing but guys with you. I mean, it's okay if you're gay, but what? You
That was
know?
probably the funniest line in the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. So he's continues to walk, and Cornelius comes from nowhere and pushes her into the bedroom and closes the door. And he's
Mhm.
attacking her. He takes a TV off the wall and smacks her across the head. Doesn't really do much, but you know,
No, I mean,
he
it was a big old ass TV, like, it was, the big tube kind. Those things are heavy.
yeah, and he cracked her pretty hard too.
Yes.
So Dirk hears a
Dirk.
little bit of the scuffle, but he keeps on walking. The innkeeper um, is out there, and he's like, "Hey, Dick, like, what was it, Dick Bag?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Dick Bag. Where you going?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Is everything okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Everything okay with your room?" He's like, "Yeah, room is fine, but not the bitch that's in it." And he turns around, and the innkeeper is looking at his back. We see that the bloody condom is
Yeah.
attached to him, not attacked,
Right. Yeah.
attached to him. And he ends up helping him remove it with a broom because he can't see it, he can't grab it, so the guy helps him out with the broom.
Right, well, that's why he called him Dick Bag. He called him Dick Bag
Right,
when he turned back around because he could see it. He's like, "Dick
right,
Bag," and Dirk's
yeah,
like,
that's right,
"What'd you call me?" He's like,
right.
"You've got something on your back, bloody condom."
So he brings it to the dumpster with like on the broom, and he flings it, but it misses the dumpster and it lands on Freddy's face.
Yeah, because he's still back there passed out.
Yes. And we go back to Cornelius, who is still attacking Pam. And the final blow that he does is he bites down on her cooch and is like shaking it like a dog and
Yeah.
then tosses her off to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So meanwhile, Jason is giving it to Christine. Like, I mean, they're going at it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she keeps saying, "Oh, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me." He's like, "I'm trying, I'm trying." And he's like really trying to keep up with her.
Right.
And he finishes, he's calling her name, and it appears that she has died, because that's the way it
Yeah.
appears. And now she wakes up. Now she's super zombie because now she's
Yeah.
got red eyes.
Yeah.
So she's transforming into something. Now they don't ever really go further than a human form, but they just keep having like these changes to their face and their eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
So when she becomes the zombie, she starts to fuck him back.
Right.
Like, I mean, she's like trying to go to town with him, like from below, and
Yeah.
then she sits up and bites his nipple off,
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
then she just randomly bites his chin off. It's like, what? I mean, I thought it was like his cheek or his nose, but it was his fucking chin.
Yeah. His whole lower lip, chin area. Yeah.
Yeah. And so a brief fight ensues, and now we're back at Freddy. He wakes up and the condom is on his face. He rolls over, it falls off, and he immediately jerks off.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot I had this
Right,
going on." He didn't even
right.
realize the condom was on his face.
Right. Bloody condom on his face. He doesn't know. And then he's by a dumpster, and that's a good spot to masturbate.
Yep.
So at that point, he opens his eyes because he kept his eyes closed through this whole moment. He opens
Uh-huh.
his eyes. The innkeeper's standing over him, and he comments, "Oh, that egg on your head. He looks really bad. The missus can help." And Freddy's like, "Yeah, no," and he just leaves. They're really, really trying hard to make the innkeeper look devious in some way.
Yeah, he's got this weird creepiness about him, yeah.
Yeah. So Freddy goes into the room where he believes he left Carrie.
Right.
And so he starts talking to her, ends up laying on top of her, and he just ends up starts to have sex, and she's realizing that she's dry. So, he goes down and he starts, licking around, and
God.
he's commenting on, the
Ugh,
corn and the peanuts, and And then he goes down and he's like, I didn't know that you had two clits.
Yeah.
And
Dumbass.
we're starting to realize because of the way this movie's going and because of the crude jokes that it's been having that it's
Mhm.
Jason.
Right, yeah. And I don't know how
And
he didn't know, because of course,
right,
totally different body shape. He was a bigger
right,
boy.
exactly.
And he doesn't have long because the girl, Carrie, she had long flowing blonde
Blonde
hair.
hair, right.
This kid has short brown hair, but I was
And she
like,
was and she was fairly thin,
"Yeah, yeah, yeah."
and he's
And
fairly larger.
right, and, just because the lights are off, like, you have no idea, and then when you're
Right.
down there, you're like, "Oh, you're pretty stinky tonight," but I love
Right.
how
But I love the way you stink.
yeah, I love the way you stink, and then all the extras down there, and then he's trying to make excuses for all the extra stuff down there, and
Right, "Oh, you
and
got
it's
2
like,
clits?"
"What the fuck?" And by the way, where the fuck was Carrie? Where did she go? She
Right.
should have been in that room because
Yeah.
that's where she last was. They do this a lot in this movie where
Yeah,
people or things should be where they once were, and they're suddenly not there anymore. But she's just gone. She's not in the room
right.
at all.
So, now, at this point, Freddy is just on top of Jason, and he's just fucking him at this point.
Right.
And this
Unknowingly.
unknowingly, and I must say that this scene was relatively excessively long.
Yes, it
It went
was.
on for way too long.
I stopped watching I just stopped looking at the television. It's like, "Okay, let's go. Hurry up. Let's
It's
go
like, we got
on."
the point.
There's a lot of times where I stopped looking at the television in this movie or I'd have my hand over my face or my whole face was in a like, the whole movie. I was like, "Gonna freeze
So
this way."
right. So now Freddy finishes and he lays down and starts spooning Jason. So now we're back with Christine in Brooklyn, and they're talking about Samara, who invited Brooklyn, but she didn't come because they broke up, and so Brooklyn came anyway. And Brooklyn's like, "Oh, I'm here for your protection. My hands are lethal weapons," and he's just going on and on and on about stupid tough guy bullshit. So Christine leaves, and Brooklyn again puts in his order for ginger snap
Yeah.
and sweet tea.
Right.
Back to Freddy and Jason. Freddy is still spooning Jason while he's quote unquote asleep. And Freddy wakes up and he starts fucking again.
Yeah, 'cause he's still in there.
Correct.
He's like, oh, you're tight."
Yep.
Yeah, no shit.
And he's stuck now.
Right.
Apparently, the anus constricted around the penis, and so now he can't get unlocked.
Right.
So he reaches over and he turns on the light, and that's when he realizes that it's Jason.
Mhm.
I do have to say that he did not freak out as much as somebody else probably would.
Yeah, I mean, he was pissed about it, but he
Right, but he wasn't like, "I'm upset about it."
right, right. Yeah.
You know? Like, there's no mental anguish. It was just,
Yeah.
"Fucking A,
Yeah.
it slipped." Uh, so Freddy's trying to pull away, and it's not working, and so they end up both falling on the floor. Christine is now outside. She's trying to get sodas, but the machine ate her money, and she starts walking off. Dirk comes up, and he hits the machine, and the soda comes out. Christine is still there. She looks over at him, and they start flirting. They have a bit
Yeah.
of a time here, and Christine's kind of into it, but she's like, "Aren't you and Pam together?" And he's like, "Pam and I broke up." And so now the conversation starts going on about random things, and.
This conversation was way too long.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I didn't really detail any of it except for Christine making a joke, asking, "Are you a psychotic rapist?"
Yeah.
As if he was, as if he would say, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah.
So back to Freddie and Jason after about like a 45-minute, flirt session. At least that's what
Right.
it felt like.
Yeah.
Back to Freddie and Jason. They're still stuck together. The store clerk ends up breaking into the room and starts choking Freddie while she's smoking.
Right. She smoked the
She's
whole time.
this whole time, even as a zombie. She ends up standing over them and she ends up queefing
Yeah.
like it was a smoke machine.
Right. And it was green, like toxic.
Green, yeah, and Freddy's like really choking on it and everything. And He reaches over, he grabs the bedroom lamp and stabs her with it,
Yeah, she's like, "Zzz." Yeah,
and she gets electrocuted and falls over.
right.
I've never seen a light be used as a sword of some sort.
Right. And the funny thing is with that door, because when Freddie went in that room initially, he locked and chained that door,
Yes, he did.
and so did Jason when he went in initially, but
Yeah.
somehow everybody keeps getting in this door
It's a very poor lock.
and out, and then when they get out, they relock it somehow with the chain. It's crazy,
Right.
but
So now we're again back to Chrissy and Dirk with still more flirting.
yeah.
They end up hearing a scream,
Mhm.
just random scream,
Yeah,
and they run to the back of the building. And there's a girl walking with blood dripping down her leg. Christine
right.
yells out Carrie, and she's walking towards the dumpster. And she's just continuously screaming.
Yeah,
There's no rhyme or reason. She's just screaming. Christine puts a hand on her shoulder and she turns around. Not Christine, but Carrie turns
Carrie.
around and now she's full zombie mode.
Yeah,
Like she's got the red eye, her face is really messed up, and like she is just, you know, zombie mode.
right,
She runs after Christine, and Dirk ends up clocking her in the face. She
right.
falls down, immediately pops back up again.
Mhm.
Christine and Dirk get to the car. Christine jumps, no, not Christine. Carrie jumps onto the car and knocks the keys out of Dirk's hands, which they end up skidding across down underneath the car.
Oh, I missed that part because I thought he was in the car trying to put the keys in and he dropped them, and then I was like, "How did they end up under the fucking car?" Like, "Is this Fred
Yeah,
Flintstone car? Is it
I
open on
was
the bottom?"
I was trying to save the scene.
You're saving this scene? Oh,
I
so
was
it did
trying. I
happen
was
that way.
No, no, it didn't. It happened the way you thought.
That's what I'm saying. It did happen that way. Okay, because I was
Right.
like, "What the
That's what I'm
fuck?"
saying. I'm trying to save the scene. Like he found them underneath the car, so we'll just say it went underneath the car.
Oh, well, see, I had a whole comment on this scene, and that was that he
But
was in the car trying to start it. He dropped the keys while in the car, then ended up out of the car, and then at some point had to find the keys, and they were under the car. I was like, "The
right.
fuck? Who is
Yeah.
doing this movie? Like,
Yeah.
what? Did they forget what they wrote just 5 seconds ago? What the fuck?"
They had no quality assurance.
No, none at all. God, it was awful. So bad.
So yes, the key does fall down onto the floor of the car, and he's trying to get it, but he can't. And that's when Carrie starts hitting the glass, and Dirk now is all of a sudden is out of the car with the gun.
Right.
Now he did introduce the gun earlier, but it was in a fantasy scene, so
Mhm.
we weren't really sure if the gun was there or not. But apparently it was.
Right.
He shoots a couple times, and she falls over, and he gets back in the car. And Christine is crying because Carrie's her best friend, and he's like, "Oh, she's not your best friend anymore."
Right.
Cornelius comes running towards the car, breaks the window, and pulls Dirk out. As he's walking towards Dirk, Dirk is trying to pull himself away, and Cornelius is unzipping his overalls, and he starts peeing on Dirk.
Yeah,
Then
a
he flips
ton.
Dirk over and pulls the pants down. Christine shoots him before he can do anything to Dirk.
Mhm.
So Christine to save the day.
Right, and then this Cornelius pissed all over Dirk, like a
Oh yeah.
ton.
Oh yeah.
Dirk gets
Absolutely.
back to the car, totally dry.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not a not a drop of pee on him.
And
Ah,
that's the thing too. Like this movie, it's appears to be like all taken in like one day,
I guess.
and they are pissing way too much for
Yeah.
people who aren't drinking anything.
Yeah, well, it's just like earlier when Pam and Dirk stopped at the convenience store, she went in there to pee, then next thing you know, they have to pull over the side of the road so she can pee. I was like, "What the
Right.
fuck? You got diabetes? Like, what's going on? Go see a doctor, honey. You
It's
literally just peed."
it's diabetes.
Yeah, diabetes.
So Christine shoots Cornelius before Dirk can do anything, and she's kind of freaked out because she just shot somebody.
Uh-huh.
So she throws the gun onto the ground, and it falls with a plastic thud.
Yeah. I'm like, "Why you get rid of
Okay,
that gun?" I was like,
right.
"Why do people keep doing this?"
But you could definitely tell that it was a fake gun because it
Oh,
really
yeah.
sounded like plastic falling on the ground.
Yeah, it had no, oomph hit the ground. As big as that gun was, yeah.
Right. So obviously Christine and Dirk were upset, and so they call the police. And she tells the police, "My friend tried to kill me. She must have eaten something, or she's on her period." As if the
Right.
police really need to know that. And then she tells the police where they are. And Dirk is looking for his keys, which are now under the car.
Right. Somehow. Magically.
Some wonderful writing here. Christine walks over to Carrie in disbelief that she's actually gone now. Dirk is trying to get the keys, but he really can't reach them. And Cornelius jumps up and pulls him from under the car. Dirk kicks him in the balls when we see Christine trying to get the gun to shoot Cornelius again, but Carrie jumps up and grabs her wrist. So Carrie wasn't really dead, so her BFF is still here.
Thank God.
Dirk kicks Cornelius in the balls a couple more times, which is really painful for Cornelius. Because
Yeah.
apparently, I guess just like in real life, his strength and his weakness are both in his genitals.
Right. It was his kryptonite. Apparently
It
the
was
the nads and the vag
right.
kryptonite. Yeah.
It was just a little extra sensitive. So now Carrie's choking Christine, and Dirk tells her, "Oh, kick her in the vag."
Yeah.
So she does, and her foot gets stuck.
Uh-huh.
And Carrie's like flipping her tongue, like, like
Yeah.
she's getting turned on by it. Christine breaks away, but her shoe is still stuck inside Carrie.
That was one hell of a kick.
It was. And Carrie pulls it out and then just throws it at her.
Right.
And it wasn't like a heavy, thick shoe.
Yeah.
It was it was almost slipper-like.
Yeah. It was like
And she threw it at her.
it was a low top Vans, whatever. Like low
Yeah.
regular Vans sneakers. Yeah.
Yeah, or like Converse or something, like a
Yeah.
low ride. What
Right.
it's called.
Well, it didn't have any kind of like it didn't go up the leg at all. It was just like a regular sneaker, but it was definitely like a Vans, like Vans or
Right.
something.
So Dirk kicks Cornelius yet again and is able to get the gun. He shoots Carrie, who lands on Christine, and she lands face first into Christine's crotch.
Right.
So Dirk and Christine meet up, and Carrie's still alive. They go into a motel room, and Brooklyn is asking about snacks, and like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And Christine tells him, "Oh, Carrie's dead, but she's trying to kill us." And he's like, "Who the fuck is Carrie?"
Yeah.
Now he threw up on her, and
Yeah. Or
she threw up on him, and then he threw up next to her, and they're like, "Oh, go look outside." And he does it first, but even this jump scare, because a jump scare, you typically have like a little bit of suspense to it. He looks out the window, sees nothing, jump scare.
Right.
You could have given it like a couple extra seconds.
Right.
Kind of like what you did with the motel sign. You could have added that in this scene, time-wise.
Right. Yeah.
Then he jumps back again and asks again who Dirk is. We have a close-up of Dirk's face, and he puts the gun on his shoulder and says, "I'm Dirk."
Yeah.
Really? So the police show up, and he doesn't really seem to know where he's supposed to be. He's like, "Where's that address?"
Right.
It's probably like the only hotel in this godforsaken
Yeah.
town anyway.
And it's apparently right next to the convenience store.
Right.
Yeah. The only two places in town. Just go there.
And, he's like, "We have the right address because there's nothing going on here." And the clerk is watching him from the woods.
Yeah.
Don't really know why that scene was in there, but she's
How
watching
did
from the
she
woods.
get out there? How did
That
she
is
get
a
out
good
there?
question. I don't
It was another
know.
one of those things. Like, why is she outside? She was just in the room knocked out with Freddie and Jason. Now she's outside in the woods, and we just get a shot of her face. Like when the cop's there, she does nothing. Maybe
Yep.
smokes, but
Maybe
What?
smokes.
how the fuck is she there? Because the
Right.
door is locked from the inside with a chain. Still, like,
This is true.
ugh.
And now we're back at Freddie and Jason. Freddie's lubing up, trying to separate from Jason. And he's just like, "I'm not gay. I'm going to need to talk to my priest after this."
Right.
And so the police start knocking on Freddie's door. He's like, "Open up, police." And Freddie's like, "Oh, just 1 minute." He's trying to clean up, the blood and the stains and everything, trying to get Jason back up in bed. And,
They're still
he's
attached.
still attached,
Yeah.
And so after a while, the policeman gets pissed off and kicks in the door. He sees Jason on the bed with Freddie, and he's like, "Sir?" And Freddy's like, he's dead tired.
Right.
Pause for laughter.
Right.
And the cop is looking at them. And he's like, why are you guys together? Like, why are you guys laying together?
Why so close?
Yeah, why so close? And Freddy's like, oh, well, we just finished. And the cop laughs at him and he starts questioning them about the events of the evening. And they're like, he's like, oh, and Jason moans a little bit and cop looks back. And I don't know why that, made the cop like, take a double take.
Yeah, it wasn't even
Uh,
like he said anything weird or he just kinda groaned like, people would groan
right,
maybe in their sleep, like, turning
right.
over or something.
And then Freddy's just like, oh, it's been a bad night. So
Yeah.
now we're back with Dark, Christine, and Brooklyn. They leave
I
the
do
room.
I do wanna
Go
say
ahead.
real quick about that scene.
Yes.
Freddie did not have to respond to that cop at the door because
No, he didn't.
it could have been an empty room. I mean,
Right.
he didn't have to say anything. He could have just let it pretend like it was empty or they were fucking sleeping. It's the middle of the
Right.
night.
Yeah,
But he
absolutely.
chose to. And the cop, when after he was, said, "Oh, we just finished," or whatever, the cop did this stupid, like, floppy hands.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
"Oh,
yeah, yeah.
are you guys gay?" or whatever, and I'm like,
Right.
"Really?" I was like, "What the fuck?" This is 2016
I
when
was
this
gonna
movie was
say, that's
made.
so 1984.
I know. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So
Dirk, Christine, and Brooklyn leave the room. They still have the gun. As they're leaving, the police see them, and he ends up pulling his gun because he
right.
sees theirs.
Yeah.
And Christine is trying to explain to them that they're the ones that called. So the police he's not listening to them at all, and he still has the gun pointed on him. He calls dispatch, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And Christine drops her hands, is like, how stupid are you? I am trying to tell you what's going on. It's like, you need backup or a SWAT team or something.
Yeah, this is where she says that they have zombies. They're zombies or whatever. This is the only time it's mentioned.
Dirk sees something off camera behind the cop, but we don't really see what it is immediately, but we realize it's Cornelius.
Ooh.
Dirk is trying to tell him, hey, something's behind you. Cop again isn't listening. He finally turns around and Cornelius is jerking off behind him.
Shocking.
And when he finishes,
This is ridiculous.
like fucking gallons of milk
Right.
just fly out of this man's. I mean, granted, you don't see it coming out of his dick, but that's where it's coming
Right.
from.
Yeah.
And apparently it's acid because it starts eating away at the cop.
Right. Well, it's all radioactive, I'm guessing.
Right. So now, again, Freddy and Jason, they are still stuck.
Yeah.
Jason is finally starting to move around, and, now he is a zombie. He's trying to get up, but Freddy's stuck in his ass, so he's just crawling to the door. Freddy is
Mhm.
not happy about anything that's going on right now.
Yeah, he's really worried
And,
about everybody seeing them like this because he doesn't want them to
right,
think he's gay. Yeah.
right. Not the fact that his dead friend just woke up and is, like,
Right.
dragging him.
Yeah.
And it's like Jason continues on. Freddy is, stretched across the door. As Jason is walking through, crawling through, Freddy's head is by one door jamb and his feet are by the other door jamb.
Mhm.
And honestly, the way he's going through, his knees would have bent just fine.
Yeah, well,
It would have
I
been a little
thought
uncomfortable.
yeah. I'm just glad they did it the way they did it.
Right.
So I thought it was gonna go another way. I thought it was gonna tear his dick off.
Yeah, it could have gone that way. I mean, I thought the same thing too.
I'm surprised they didn't do it that way
Right.
with the way this movie
Maybe
is.
that was too extreme.
I guess, maybe.
So they eventually get through the door, but Freddy gets broken in half.
Right.
But as I said, his legs are in such a manner where they just would have bent, because
Yeah.
he would have bent at the knee.
Yeah, he wasn't
And
backwards,
right. And
but if
he
you were
may
backwards,
have
he's still
been
bent.
right. He may have been a little uncomfortable, like having like his legs and face being dragged across the door jamb, but he wouldn't be
Right.
dead.
Yeah.
All right. So now after the cop is burning with acid cum, um Dirk, Christine, and Brooklyn run to the car, and we might add also that it's getting near the end of the movie, and Brooklyn is still alive.
Yep. I was like, "Oh, well, at least he's
Right.
making it
Um.
so
And
far."
we learn that that's not the case because the clerk catches up to them, gets a hold of Brooklyn.
No, this was the mom.
Was it the mom?
Yeah, it was I don't know how she got there, but
Oh yeah, it was the
every one
mom.
of these motherfuckers showed up at this fucking motel, and it was the mom, and she was on top of the Jeep or whatever
Yeah,
their car was, and from Cornelius's mom or whatever she was. Yeah.
yeah, it was the mom. That's right.
Mhm.
Because at this point I forgot about her because we haven't seen her since like forever
Yeah.
ago.
Right.
So the mom ends up sticking Brooklyn's head up her vag
Right, and she also
with
has the misty stuff.
right, and also he ends up getting burnt. Dirk shoots her. But this time she doesn't fall, but her grip on Brooklyn does
Mhm,
let him go. Cornelius is now running away from the cop and punches Dirk down.
mhm.
Dirk gets up again and runs. Christine already ran away. She ends up tripping over Freddy, and as she does, the mailman hits her in the head against the wall. Like she's running around the corner, he grabs her and slams her against the wall. Did you have something?
No, I'm just preparing.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh! I thought you were getting excited.
No,
No.
not at all.
Dirk goes to the room that he was in and he sees Pam is dead on the floor. And as he's going through, Carrie jumps on his back and bites him. And he tosses her down to the ground and he ultimately curb stomps her head into the floor. The mailman is standing over Christine with a super long but really skinny penis in her face.
But the end was, like, huge and
Right. It was a
gross.
big,
Oh,
definitely big head.
it was so gross. Ugh, it's the worst fucking movie ever.
Dirk, Dirk is looking down at Carrie, and behind him, was it the clerk this time or was the mother again?
I think this is the clerk. I think the clerk 'cause
Okay.
she does come back at some point.
Right. So the clerk approaches the door and Dirk closes it and locks it behind him. Again, Carrie is still not dead because her body turns towards him and spreads her legs. So apparently, her bottom half is still alive, but not her top half. And so Dirk looks in, and now we have a close up of a massive bloody vag with
Right.
teeth
Yeah.
and apparently a tongue because it shoots out and wraps around his
Yeah.
neck and
I was like,
pulls
"What
him
is that?"
really close. Right. I'm not necessarily new to anatomy, but I could have missed that part.
Me too. I've had it my whole life. Like,
That could have been so much fun.
who would need a man at that point? Like,
So he's really fighting and trying to pull away, and the vag wants to eat him, and he's really contemplating what he needs to do to get out of the situation.
oh,
So he ends up biting the tongue thing,
yeah.
and he grabs the gun, and the vag says "fuck me" when Dirk ends up putting the gun into the vag and fires.
Right.
Now Carrie is dead.
Yeah.
We have now figured out how to kill these things.
Yes.
The mailman is still standing over Christine when the innkeeper comes up and hits him in the head. Christine thanks him. I didn't catch what he says,
Yeah, I can't read either.
but the mailman's penis pops up again, and it appears that they cut it off. At least that's what it seems like.
Because he hit him in the head with a shovel, so she
Right.
grabbed the shovel when it came back up again, and she slammed it down on his groin area, cut it off. I'm assuming he cut it off. Yeah.
Right. And so then the innkeeper hits Christine in the head with the shovel, knocking her out. I don't know how the shovel keeps changing hands, but it
Yeah.
does. Dirk is nursing his wounds when Pam gets up. She stares at him longingly, and he stares in return, not so longingly. And he ends up shooting her in the vag, and she falls down pretty violently.
Mhm.
So we can assume that she's no longer with us.
Right.
He is washing blood off his face when he ends up getting hit in the face with a shovel.
Uh-huh.
This person looks like they had some sort of like robe or hood over his head, so you couldn't see who he was.
Mm. I don't remember that
And
part.
he ends up falling on top of Pam, and of course, it's
Yeah.
in the 69 position.
Right. Any way they can get a good sex joke in.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now there's a room with plastic sheets, kind of like a Dexter situation with blood on it. Christine's like waking up, and we see both Christine and Dirk They're duct taped to a table and a chair with the innkeeper, um, where the innkeeper is cutting an ear off from a rotting dead head, and he ends up eating it. And he and his family are sitting around the table laughing as Dirk and Christine are screaming. So that
Right.
kid with the mask is still sitting there, and his at this point, I believe his mother's there,
I
and
She looked young. I thought it was the
she
daughter.
did.
She looked like Alanis Morissette. That's why I said
And,
earlier,
and who
Alanis
knows? I mean,
Morissette.
the way this movie has went,
Uh-huh.
it could be like an incestuous
Yeah,
relationship
right.
because the girl herself doesn't seem like she knows how to talk
Yeah,
or something. Because like she does have like quote unquote speaking roles, but you can't understand her.
right. This is where it becomes a totally different movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
the innkeeper reaches over and it looks like he's going to cut either a finger or Dirk's hand. And he's talking about, oh, we can finally have fresh meat or something to that effect. And Dirk sees a gun that's sitting by the innkeeper. Now, when Cornelius comes in and saves the day,
Yeah.
he breaks in and he rips out the innkeeper's throat. And then he punches the clown mask kid, and Dirk tells Christine that they have the gun. I don't know how they got themselves out of the table because they were pretty duct taped down to the table.
Uh-huh.
But Christine got the gun, and Dirk tells her to shoot Cornelius in the brain. I don't know
What a
why,
waste of
because
time.
Cornelius just saved them. And he doesn't fall down, and Dirk says, the other brain, referencing his testicles.
This was so dumb. I was like, "You just wasted so much time by saying it that way, only to put in the line, the other brain." Like,
Right.
come on, what the fuck? And this was a revolver, which they had been using the whole show. I was like, "How
Right.
many fucking rounds do they have in this gun?" Because they shot a lot of people a lot of times
They
because they
did.
didn't go down. They weren't like regular zombies where you could shoot 'em in the head and they die. They would just get knocked
Right.
out for a minute and then they'd be back.
Right. She ends up shooting him in the testicles, and Cornelius is standing there for a minute in pain when one testicle falls out. And Cornelius falls over, and Dirk and Christine are able to make their escape, rather. I mean,
Right.
mistake also is a good word for this movie.
Right.
They get in the car, and this time they have the keys, and it starts just fine.
Mhm.
I think this is the first movie I've ever seen where the
Yeah.
car starts on the first turn and doesn't get into an immediate accident. Dirk says, let's check the fuck out
Right.
when he ends up becoming attacked by Jason
Yeah.
and the clerk. Because
Yeah.
Dirk gets attacked by Jason and Christine gets attacked by the clerk. So there's a lot of like weird yelling and choking going on, and
Yeah.
a pipe from somewhere falls to the ground.
It's the God pipe. It just fell
God
from the
pipe, that's
sky.
right. That's
I was
right.
like,
We do have the God pipe, don't we?
right. Yeah, and I was like, "Did they just forget that that was supposed to be there and they threw it in?" Like, it literally just fell from nowhere, and they both looked at
Right.
it like, "Oh, this fell from
Oh, there
nowhere."
it is.
Yeah. I was like, "What the hell is this stupid shit?"
So Dirk hits Jason in the head a couple times, and now we're back at the clerk and Christine, and Christine pulls her ovaries out.
Yeah.
She jams her fist up into her crotch and pulls out her ovaries.
Huge fucking ovaries.
Huge
But they
ovaries.
did have mouths on them.
Yes, yes. And this does end up killing the clerk finally.
Yeah, and they look like angry cherries. They look like.
Yes. Dirk is standing over Jason, and Jason is like saying something like penis and like
Yeah.
he's whispering something, but I can only
Yeah,
make out the word penis.
I couldn't make out what he was saying.
And Dirk starts beating him in the chest. Again, don't know why, because he knows how to kill him.
Yes! The whole time I was like, "This is
And
taking way too long. Why is he beating him in the chest over and over and over when he knows he just needs to get him in the dick?" Like, it
right.
took forever. I was like, "I just want this movie to be over." They knew. They knew I wanted it to be over, and they were just taunting me.
Jason finally does the final blow and he stabs his dong.
That's pretty
Jason
funny.
dies.
Uh-huh.
So Dirk is in a little bit of shock at this point. He stands up, and Christine's like, I want to go home. Dirk offers to drive.
Mhm.
and they end up driving off, running over Cornelius's lonely testicle.
Yeah.
Where it came from, I don't
N
fucking know because it was somewhere else in the building.
No, it was those were the ovaries.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can cut my rant out. So now we have daylight, and Dirk is standing out on the grass, and Christine is sleeping in the car, and then all of a sudden she has a flash dream about Cornelius's face, and she jumps up. She walks over to Dirk and grabs his hand. She thanks Dirk, and then they kiss.
Right. And they're filthy, gross, bloody, disgusting
Oh
when they
yeah,
start making out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like they looked like the toilet from the beginning.
Right. But
Uh,
they are in a nice, big, romantic field with the
they
sun
are.
coming up.
I mean, why waste the field on the daylight?
Right. What else are you gonna do?
So they separate from each other, and Dirk looks at her and it's like, "Oh my god." And she's like, "What?" She runs over the car and looks in the mirror, and she has super herpes.
Yeah, her lips are all crazy.
Yeah. And Dirk's like, "Oh, maybe I'm immune. I'm so sorry." And she's like, "Stay away from me." And she's like walking away, and a car comes by and hits her, and a couple buckets of blood fly
Yeah.
all over Dirk.
Right.
So then we have the two guys from the beginning come up in their truck. Again, looks immaculate because, again, this whole thing seemed like it happened, started like the day before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah. And it was funny because right before these guys showed up, I was like, well, I guess those other guys, what happened to them? I guess they aren't ever coming back. They made it to the beach or wherever they were going.
Honestly, it was the only part of the story that had complete continuity.
Right.
So one of the guys gets out with the gun and he's like, "Are you one of them?" Dirk says no. Christine gets up and they shoot her in the vag. Now, I
Right.
don't know how she gets up considering the amount of blood that she would have lost. I mean, because there
And
was more blood than the human body could possibly
right.
carry.
And the fact that in order to kill them, you have to shoot them in their genital area.
Right,
She was slammed by a car. I'm sure it probably hit her genitals in some way, shape, or form.
right,
That didn't kill her. They have to shoot them.
right.
But yeah, she gets up
Yep.
miraculously.
Now she's dead. And they ask, "Oh, was she one of them? She was awfully pretty."
Yeah,
Like,
that matters.
really? And so they ask, "Oh, what are you going to do?" He's like, "I'm going to go south." They're like, "Oh, we've already been there. There's nobody there. There's more of these things walking around." And Dirk says, "Oh, I'm still going to go south. I'll just take my chances."
Right.
And he says,
Yeah.
"Earth just Googled a hero, and my name came up as number one." As an ambulance plows into him,
Right.
the credits roll.
Thank God.
And I have to say, in the credits, there were
Uh-huh.
some bloopers.
Yeah.
They look like they had fun making the movie. They
Yeah.
really
Even though
did. Like the bloopers in the movie, they look like they had a complete blast making the movie.
right.
And that alone was worth like watching the credits for.
Right.
But they did. They looked like they had fun. So I mean, that made me feel good about the movie, at least in that respect, that they at least enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Even though it was terrible to watch, they had fun making it.
Right. Right. Well, the whole movie should have been a blooper. I mean, geez.
So what are your thoughts?
Where do I begin? So I hated this movie. In case anybody wants to know, couldn't figure it out. I absolutely fucking hated this movie from the jump all the way through. Fucking hated it. And I hated the fact that okay, so I watched the credits too, and I watched them all the way through because regardless of the movie, I watched the credits all the way through. It doesn't matter. At the end of the credits, whoever it was that wrote it or directed or whatever, he thanked a whole shit ton of people. Just
Yeah, I saw that.
and explained why he was thanking them. The first one was God, and it said, "God, I found you again." And I was like, "And you made this shit?" I was like, "What?"
I missed that part.
It was the very first one. And so I felt a little bad about hating this movie so much because obviously this movie must have meant a lot to him. It was a labor of love of some sort. So I felt a little bit bad for hating it, but I still hate it. It's such a trash movie that he for someone to care so much that he writes all those thank yous to I swear it had to been like 30 people You didn't put that much care into writing the story. The incontinuity alone drove me fucking crazy. I was like, how do you forget where people are, what's going on? Like, what the fuck is this mess? And then just the gross, like, I mean, I'm not one to turn away from gore. Like, gore doesn't bother me, but it was just so much, and it was so over the top, and it was so overly sexualized. It was just so disgusting. I was like, ugh. So it's a bad story, bad directing, bad continuity, gross out for no reason. And the only thing that I thought maybe, because especially when the pipe dropped out of nowhere, I was like, maybe this is supposed to be a spoof movie of some sort in some kind of weird way, like, not in as good a way as, like, other spoof movies that we've seen, like, Scary Movie or whatever, even though those
Right.
are kind of whatever, but they're, for sure those are spoof movies. They're very specific. You know that this is what it is.
Right.
But this one was like, it it could have been a spoof movie, and if they had put it out as a spoof movie, like they were spoofing '80s slashers in some sort of way or whatever, okay, I could give it some grace. I'd be like, "Okay, I get it." But I don't think they were. I think this was
No.
serious, and they stole so much shit from so many other movies. Between the names of the people, there were so many scenes that reminded me of so many other movies, like, even the part where the family at the end that, for no reason, the innkeeper guy, he's suddenly a weird psycho. It had feelings of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stuff like that. It
Yep.
just kinda gave me that kind of feeling. And then when they got hit by the cars, it made me think of shit, Rob Zombie's movie.
Final Destination?
Well, Final Destination was one, but also uh, a little bit of Rob Zombie's movie. What the fuck? House of a Thousand Corpses,
Oh, okay.
where the girl gets hit. I mean, not quite like that, but I thought of Destination and Rob Zombie's movie, because whenever somebody gets hit by a car like that, that's what I think of. But they just used a bunch of other stuff, like, I don't know. I absolutely just hate this movie. I don't recommend anybody ever watch this movie. Do not watch this movie with children around.
Or Pets.
Anybody, like, don't watch it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's god awful.
So how many cents would you give it?
0. Negative 10. Can I give negative 10s? Can they pay me for watching that fucking movie? But and I looked at IMDb, and they have a really low rating on there. I think they had like 4 out of 10 or whatever. And some people were most of the comments were all negative, but somebody was like, I bet whoever made this movie had their friends go in, and their 4 friends, I guess, go in and like this movie, because it was awful. And so hopefully this is in agreement with the vast majority of people, and we don't get a bunch of shit for talking shit about this movie. But yeah, it sucked. It was so bad. The acting wasn't great. Like, there was nothing good about this movie. Like, there was no, they've had like 2 or 3 songs, obviously sung by the same band. I think they had 2 songs sung by the same band, but there was no music. There was nothing. Like you were talking about, no ambiance of any sort, just in general background, even like there. And who the fuck has a horror movie with a car montage scene and no fucking rock music? Where was the hay? Where were the trees? Where were the rocks? Fever Lake. If Fever Lake had to go up against this movie for Oscar contention, Fever Lake would win every single one. Eh, this Fever Lake was way better than this movie. Ugh. I was like, after I finished it, I was like, "Okay, I can't wait." I almost messaged you. I was like, "Can we just go ahead and do this now and get this out of the way? I want this out of my head. I want this over and done with." The fact that I have to sit through listening to it again.
That's awesome.
I'm glad I didn't watch it twice, and I'm glad because sometimes I'll watch a movie, even if it's not my lead, I'll watch the movie twice. I'll watch it once, and then I'll watch it twice and give my comments. And for some reason, I must have been God talking to me. I did not. I was like, no, I'm just gonna watch it and give my comments at the same time. Holy hallelujah! Good God, I'd have been so pissed if I had to watch that twice. So June 9, Fever Lake, all way better than this movie. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Okay,
And I
so
want the passion for of the hate, unless you don't have it, unless you love this
I
movie.
honestly tried watching this movie a couple of years ago. I could not get past the eating of the tampon. I lost it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was struggling with it,
Yeah.
but that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right, and you thought, "You know
And
what? This would be a great movie to do on the podcast. Let's ruin Talon's life." Okay.
that was the goal. But I mean, I don't really have much different to say than what you did because the
Mhm.
continuity was terrible. I mean, and I see your point as far as it possibly being a spoof, but
Uh-huh.
it was doing way too much for that
Right,
to be a thing because it was trying to be a gross out comedy,
right.
a horror movie, a slapstick comedy movie, and they were trying to roll it all into one. Like, I guess I can say that I appreciate what they were trying to do, but they failed miserably.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing about it that was fun other than the bloopers in the end.
Right.
And no, I could never watch this movie again. And also what you're talking about too is like far as gore and stuff like that. Like this movie wasn't gory at all because I think gory like blood and guts and shit like that.
Well, it was
This was
sexually gory, I felt like, in
it
that
was
way. Mhm.
yeah, I mean it was definitely, feeling like it was going back to like the 70s like exploitation, like the
Yeah,
sexploitation stuff.
right.
But it wasn't gory in the sense of like blood and guts, but
No.
it was a lot of like gross toilet humor using bodily
Yeah.
functions,
Uh-huh.
which to me is far grosser than,
Yeah.
you know, watching blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a totally different thing. And I don't
Right.
know why that is, but I would rather watch like, gallons of blood than, watching like people shitting and eating
Yeah.
tampons and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's like blood and guts and that kinda gore is different, but it was just this overly sexual, gory thing going on, and it was just I just felt gross and dirty for watching it, and I was just like it was nauseating, the how over the top it was and how much they just played into it nonstop. And also with the whole spoof thing, when you have a spoof movie, like, say, Scary Movie, the spoofing is incredibly obvious as
Right.
to what they're spoofing. Whereas this one wasn't, which is why I feel like it wasn't a spoof movie. It was more of a gore comedy, gore horror porn thing, like, but it
Uh,
just was it didn't play well. It was I mean, I like, what would and I think I remember actually seeing trailers for this movie when it was out,
oh,
and I
really?
was like, "Did they put this in theater?" Because when I was watching, I was like, "I feel like I know this." And of course, I don't know what parts of this movie they could have possibly put in a trailer, 5 seconds of it maybe. But I do remember because I remember the motel part of it and a couple of the characters, and I was like, "I remember these ads," and I remember thinking, "Oh, looks like it might be a fun movie to watch." Because I thought it was gonna be a fun horror movie, kind of, like a little campy maybe, but no, I'm glad I didn't go see it, and I if they had this in theaters, I can't imagine.
Honestly, I'm surprised it wasn't rated X for content.
Yeah, yeah, actually, you're right. What was it, R, I guess?
Yeah, I think it was
I'm
R.
assuming? Yeah.
If it says MA, I'll be pissed.
No, I was gonna look and see if it ever went into theaters. What is the name of this movie? What
A
Strange is
Night of Something Strange.
The Night is So Strange. All I'm getting is just, it was a budget of $40,000. Shocking.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And also at one point I thought, "Oh, are they doing some kind of weird version of It Follows?" Remember did you see that
Right.
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was like sexually transmitted diseases or
Oh my
whatever
god,
trying to
Rotten
occur.
Tomatoes gives it a 60%.
What?
Yeah.
How? Oh, it was, but only in a very limited way. It did not get a wide theatrical release. Instead, it had a small, limited theatrical run in 2016, mostly midnight screenings, genre festivals, and select indie theaters. Some festival play on the underground genre circuit. Its real audience came later through VOD and streaming and physical media, where it found a cult following. Who? Why? Ew.
Um, it's TVMA.
Oh, okay. Ugh.
So anyway, I give
Yeah.
this also 0 cents.
Thank God. I was hoping you weren't gonna give it at least 1 cent for something, for existence. I don't know.
No, I mean, I almost did for the bloopers, but even they can't really save it.
Yeah.
Because even though the bloopers were the best part, it's still
Right.
I still can't bring myself to give it anything more than 0.
Yeah. Have we given anything else a 0?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We've given really low ratings, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't believe that we've ever done a 0. And I
So,
think this
yeah.
is the only time that we've actually had, like, a dead on,
Oh, yeah.
same thing. Because usually it's like, "Oh, I'll do it a 3. Oh, I'll do it a 3.5,"
Right.
you know?
Yeah. This movie was bad. Alright, do you have anything you'd like to add?
"Oh, we need to put a condom on this one."
Yes. I was wondering if you were gonna go that way. And that was The Night of Something Strange, a movie that somehow managed to be exhausting, confusing, and unpleasant all at the same time. If the goal was to make me sick, congratulations, mission accomplished. If the goal was to tell a coherent story or make literally any of this make sense, well, we've already established how that went. As always, thank you for listening and for sticking with us through whatever that was. If you watched along with us, we are so fucking sorry. If you didn't, honestly, you made the right call. Next month, we're moving on to a brand new theme, Spring Break, Bloody Bodies, because nothing says sun, sand, and bad decisions like horror movies where vacations go violently sideways. And we're kicking that off with Piranha from 2010, which promises blood in the water, chaos on the lake, and, most importantly, a much better time than whatever just happened. It is available on Flex. Until then, be scared, be prepared, and don't get caught in the dark. Thank God that's over.